What if I told you that one of the most successful farmers that I know hasn't been to a farmer's market in 6 years? She makes more money in 8 weeks than most market farmers make in a full year. And customers beg her to pay $5 just to walk on her farm. It sounds crazy, and a few years ago, I would have thought this was impossible, but I've interviewed her twice, and what she's doing is very real and very replicable. Stay tuned to find out more about her model, the You Pick Farm, coming up on Modern Grower. Thanks for watching the video. I'm Diego D-I-E-G-O, and here at Modern Grower, we talk about the business of small-scale farming, especially the profitable side of things. And today we're taking a look at a business model that's quietly revolutionizing the market farming world. It's very different than what you would typically see most market farms, how they would run their business. But it's one that I think is promising. It doesn't require a ton of startup capital outside of what you would normally need to start a farm. There's no fancy technology, no massive infrastructure, just one simple insight into the customer base and how to best serve them has changed everything. Every farm entrepreneur faces the same math. In a single day, you can only grow so much, harvest so much, and sell so much. Farmer Megan Neubauer and her father found this out the hard way.
We started off as a market garden back in 2012. We used to go to farmers markets and we tried to do some little shares, wholesale. We would sell to some restaurants and some distributors, and we just were never able to turn the corner to make a profit. It just felt like everything that we were making was not enough.
Here's the fatal flaw in traditional market farming. You're not just a farmer. You're a planter, you're a harvester, you're a washer, you're a seller, you're a marketer. You have to do it all. In fact, growing might only be 30% of your total time commitment on the farm.
The big labor suck was everything after the growing. Pick it, prep it, right? So sort it, bunch it, bag it, store it, get it to market, and execute the sales. All of that stuff takes more time than the growing.
Most farmers never solve this equation. Two people can only process so much produce through the traditional pipeline, no matter how hard they work. So they stay trapped, barely breaking even, wondering if farming can really pay. In 2017, Megan tried something different. Instead of taking her produce to customers, she brought customers to her produce. The results were immediate.
We planted some blackberries and we said, I've heard of You Pick before. So we said, let's do a little pick your own blackberry patch and see what happens. And the moment people got out there for that first year, they were like, oh my gosh, are those carrots? Oh, when do we get to pick tomatoes? When do we get to pick onions? And the demand just really blew us away. We were like, why not? Why are we picking all this stuff and taking it to the farmer's market when we could be offering more to the people who already clearly want to come out and do this?
She'd accidentally discovered something very powerful. Eliminate the entire post-harvest supply chain and let customers do the work themselves. But here's the genius part. The customers loved it so much, they would actually pay for the privilege. All right, let's break down how this works because the numbers are remarkable.
So last year we made $151,000. So about 25% of that was admission. The produce itself was just over $100,000. And then our costs are between 30 and 35%. So at our scale that we're at right now, I think we'll clear 200.
Do the math. $151,000 in revenue, 30 to 35% costs means $98,000 to $105,000 in profit for two people working just 8 weeks. That's $12,000 to $13,000 per week. Show me a farmer's market that can deliver those numbers on a farm this size. Good luck, you're not going to find one. But wait, there's more. The 25% emission revenue, pure profit. It's money for access before customers ever buy a single vegetable. And the great thing is, Megan and her father keep 100% of it.
So tickets $5, and that just gets you access, sheer admissions. We don't do walk-ins at all.
That ticket take is a nice amount of revenue that you're bringing in right there.
It's 25%.
Here's how Megan controls the entire customer experience and how that control dictates her profits.
We target the number of tickets, essentially, that we sell to the U-Pick ahead of time. And we tailor the number of tickets based on how much produce is ready. And then we will sell that number of tickets through our website. And they generally always sell out, especially the weekends.
She's created artificial scarcity with real value. Limited tickets means no cost overruns, no waste, and premium pricing. Compare that to a farmer's market where you never know if you'll sell out or go home with half of your produce.
Last summer, we had 30 picks. Each of those days, we averaged about $4,700. Almost all of them sold out, somewhere around 240 people. The average transaction, $47.
$4,700 per day, 30 days a season. That's $141,000 right there. And she's optimized her farm to clear over $200,000. Most farmers would need to work 50 plus weeks to hit those numbers. But Megan didn't stop there. She evolved into something that was even more profitable: memberships.
First year, I cherry picked like 100 of my favorite pickers to sell them to, and that went pretty well. This year, I did a little over 600. I think next year, we're going to go season pass exclusive, almost an entirely membership-based pick-your-own club.
Think about this. She's moving from traditional sales to reoccurring revenue. Season pass holders spend between $40 and $50 per visit and come multiple times a season. That's predictable cash flow, loyal customers, and high lifetime values.
Admission was close to 30% of our total revenue. I can think about admission as the per pound price was a third higher on everything.
Here's what most farmers miss. This model eliminates massive infrastructure costs.
So we don't have a building. We don't have a wash and pack. We don't have walk-in coolers. We don't have anything. We don't need anything now that we're pick your own.
No wash station, no coolers, no packing equipment, and no delivery vehicles. Customers harvest their own produce and take it home fresh in their own vehicles. The savings on infrastructure alone could fund your entire first year of farming.
It's 2 acres of annuals and anywhere from 2 to 3 acres of blackberries. It's about 12,000 row feet.
5 acres generates $151,000. That's over $30,000 per acre. Numbers that most commodity farmers would weep at with envy. In fact, the numbers are so good, I don't think most people will believe them. But there's something deeper happening here, more than just clever business mechanics. Megan discovered what people really hunger for in our disconnected world.
Agri-tourists are not motivated by cost and convenience. The agri-tourist highest motivations, which are supporting local agriculture and making personal interactions with the farmer. So that's free for me to provide.
Free to give, but impossible to scale through traditional channels. You can't build relationships through wholesale distributors or farmers market crowds, at least easily. But create a space where people come to you repeatedly and seasonally, and suddenly relationships aren't just possible, they're inevitable.
So we try to learn as many names as we can, but we have pickers who've been coming since the first year. And it was just a lady and a boyfriend, right? And the next year it's a husband, and then she's pregnant, and then there's a kid, and now there's 3 kids. It's just amazing to see. And the kids are hugging our legs. This incredible community that Dad and it took us by surprise. We just never really expected that.
But here's what those numbers don't capture: the transformation of quality of life.
And the only crops that go in are garlic in October here, and then onions in January. And then you're off to the races after that. It's beets and carrots in February. Really, then we try to wait for April 1st for all the tender stuff.
8 weeks of intense work, 5 months largely free. Compare that to the year-round traditional farming grind, or frankly, most businesses. They set themselves up with a pretty good model.
And yeah, the finite compactness of this endeavor has a preseason, a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the end is what makes it doable. Just knowing that it's gonna end. And then after that comes the break.
Now you might be thinking, this is farming. What does this have to do with my business that's not involved in farming? But the principle Megan discovered work far beyond agriculture.
I would start with inviting fewer people than you think you can take. Just start with 20 people on a Saturday. I think you would probably pretty quickly move over to pick your own if you're interested in it at all.
Start small, create scarcity, build community. Focus on experience over volume, and design your business around your life, not the other way around. Whether you're a consultant, creator, coach, or any other kind of service provider, ask yourself, how could you bring customers to you instead of chasing them? How could you create experiences so valuable that access itself becomes a product? Megan Neubauer didn't just save her farm. She discovered something profound about what people really want. In our hyper-connected, always-on world, we're starving for real connection, authentic experiences, and the simple pleasures of slowing down. She built a business that feeds that hunger. And in doing so, she's created something sustainable, not just financially, but personally.
Primarily, more than anything, we are feeding people, right? We're pumping out 35, 40,000 pounds of food in those 2 months, this man and me. That's what we really find rewarding about it.
The question isn't whether you can afford to try this approach. The question is, what would become possible if you stopped chasing customers and started creating experiences worth seeking out? Your community is waiting. You have to give them a reason to come find you. If you want to learn more about Megan, you can listen to both full interviews that I've done with her. I've linked to those below. I've also linked to her book about You Pick Farming, which you can find anywhere like Amazon. If you have comments on this video and you like this style of video, or you want your farm to be featured, let me know all those things in the comments below. Do the usual stuff. Hit subscribe, hit the bell. Thanks for watching. Until next time, be nice, be thankful, and do the work.